All right, so once again, we are stuck in a range. This is a complicated range. This looks a lot like a head and shoulders. So I am looking at the potential for a breakdown here. So I want to draw that out before anything else so that if anybody is not understanding what I'm talking about, there is a shoulder, neck, head, neck, shoulder, right? And so what we're looking for is for this to come down and break through here. That's why I've got the profile drawn from here. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. It could just as easily trade up. But that's what I'm looking for right now. And I like it when chart patterns and volume and everything come together. So if we can see this happen and see this breakdown take place and capture part of it with the trend or with the swing profile, that would be fantastic. Okay, we're challenging the low right now. I'm going to pull some of these lines off. Hopefully you guys understand the head and shoulders bit, but I hate having too much clutter. So I'm going to get these off. Now, we've got to see volume print below here. So we need an actual breakdown, not just a fake breakdown here. And ideally, we want to have the CWAP come down and fall in this area. We don't want this to break and then come all the way back into the range. It's not the end of the world, but just as we've always done on other lessons, you sort of need the entries to make sense. So if we put a this would be the last level of support that's broken. We have another one right here that we're currently breaking. I don't feel like we want to go back inside of this, so we need this CWAP to get out of where it is right now, I guess, is the most important piece. Okay, look how tight this this stop is. This is, you know, one tick away. That sounds great, right? That sounds really good, but it things like that give me a lot of hesitation. So I don't want the CWAP and the VWAP to crisscross. That would be problematic. So while it's easy to get excited about something and say, oh my gosh, we have a one tick stop. Okay, now it's widening up. I want it to be at least a couple of ticks. It's just not logical to be trading with a one tick stop. So a couple of ticks is good. This is starting to move down as well. This is where we really want it to line up. That's the only reason I haven't put an order out there yet. It's because I really want it in this area, and it was up a lot higher. But this is starting to look good, and I think if everything comes together the way this is a very nice head and shoulders pattern. And look at that. That's right where we want it. So I'm going to go ahead and put my
order pending
sell order out there. And if we can get that picked up with a 3-tick stop or something, phew, perfect. Okay, this is going to be tight. It'll be 3 ticks, but that's all right. We'll roll with it. If they start to crisscross, we've got a problem. That's not what we're looking for. This isn't a moving average crossover. Okay.
Order filled.
All right, and now see, this is the issue. You got to get that stop in quickly. So 3 ticks. This is tight. Okay, well, let's not lose sight of what our other job is here. We've got to get our risk to reward on. So we have entry, we have stop, we have our first target here. So let's make sure that we get it up there. We have 3 to 1. We have 5 to 1. And look at that. When you've got a 3-tick stop, it sure does make the target seem close by, doesn't it? All right, so we're all set up there. And we don't have very far to go, but we don't have very far to go before our stop. And we're sort of to see how we're in between these two. Here is a area of interest. Here is an area of interest. We're right up against it. Let's see if we can get this rolling. Okay, a tick away from the target here. First target anyway. Let's see if we can get that picked up. Oh, hit. It's hit but no fill. Well, the good news is we're getting the battle exactly where we expected it. So hopefully we can downtick a little bit. We hit this. Doesn't look like it from the wick, but I think the wick is off a little bit because we hit the 5150 and just didn't fill it. See if we can get some momentum and carry it down.
Stop filled.
Ah, boo. Okay, well, we were stopped out on that, but, 3-tick stop, that's no big deal. I really like the overall structure of this, so I don't know, maybe there was a better way to place this, but see how these two came together here? That always makes me a little bit nervous. We really, the point is to have one leading the other, not for them to be identical. So anyway, trades fail. And the big question is, would you take it again? And given the structure of the chart, the pattern that came in together there, I really like it. And now, the main thing is, this is the area that should hold, then this, and then this. So if we start moving up here, there's no reason why we shouldn't be looking at this from the other side. I think that's the important thing. We're through the volume weighted average price. So if we bring this over and start tracking off of the low, you can see everything's above the VWAP at this point. We're tracking higher. We've just traded through. This is looking good, guys. This really, I don't see any major issues here. We're going to trade into this. Let me get that on. We're through this one. Right at these highs. Okay, see where we are. Now this is where the concern comes in, because if we're bouncing off of everyone, this is the primary level up here. This is where we've got to get a 2-to-1 target inside of that, right? A downtick to this right now logically puts us there. I don't think that's the issue. The bigger issue is that we're trading directly into another level. This is always going to be the issue. Golly, look at the stop, how much that just spread out. This is always going to be the issue when you are trading inside of a range using a swing, right? We've got to look at what we're up against. So this one we're not using anymore. Let me just move this. We'll use this line so I don't have to draw another one, right? So note where we are in relationship to that. So that's sort of we need to stab through this a little bit. We need to be checking our risk to reward to make sure that we're going to be getting a target inside of this one. So let me get that going here. Drawing tools, risk to reward. So if we've got an entry here and a stop here, oh, that's no good. Okay, so our 2-to-1 is going to fall outside of this. It doesn't mean that we have to go for 2 to 1, right? I think that's part of it. We don't necessarily have to go for 2 to 1. Let's make some adjustments here. God, look, this is kind of falling apart. Okay, look at the problem that we've... Yeah, it's 2. Keeps changing on us. Hi. Okay. I don't like this even a little bit. Basically what we've done is we have traded into the decision point. So this is our target, our first target for the trade, and now we're in it. So I'm gonna redraw this because this is I had a little I don't think that's accurate. All right, so entry, stop. 2 to 1 target, way outside, right? So we really need to break the high now. Trading back down into this and going long here doesn't make any sense. We've got to see volume trade up and outside of this. So let's just sit on it for a minute. I'll get that off of the chart. Let's just sit on it and see if we can break out of the top. Okay, look at this. This is exactly where our entry would be if we were just going for this. But I want to make sure everybody understands. Look, let me get some stuff off of here because there's too much junk on the chart. We're inside of a range. We trade across the range. We're already there. Coming back down and expecting this to continue, knowing that we've got the top of the range here, is ridiculous. We have to have proof. So it doesn't mean that this trade is invalid and that we can't pick it up, or rather this swing is invalid and we can't pick it up once we get across this. But we can't take this trade with a visible roadblock as where we stopped, right? Not to mention the risk to get into this at the time put our target outside of that. But now it's not even about the target. It's the fact that we're already there. We're at a stopping point. This could just as easily be a high, and it wouldn't make any sense to take a swing-based trade off of a swing that's already complete. So let's see how it plays out, and if we can come back out of the top, we'll jump into it. Okay, looks like the CWAP held, so this very well could be an excellent trade in terms of it working, but that doesn't matter. We're not interested in it working, turning into some great trade. We're interested in learning how to manage our risk, and our risk is too heavily upside down if we've already traded to where effectively a target would be. So we have to trade through the top of this. It's not good enough to see the market go where you think it's going to go and then expect it to go further, right? We need proof that it's going to go further, and if it goes further, then we would look at rejoining the swing. Okay, well, look, this ended up failing. So I'm glad that it works out as a good example because this is sort of what you would expect. If we already trade into the edge of a range, come back down, you don't want to get into a trade. And this is exactly why. Rarely do things work out this nice, but here it is, showing us exactly what not to do.